Alright guys, today what we're going to talk about is a pedigree analysis to give you a little bit more practice on how to determine the genotypes of the individuals in this pedigree here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what the trait is that we're dealing with. We're talking about a widow's peak today. Right, so what does a widow's peak look like? See this little part right here that is kind of like triangular? That's a widow's peak, okay? And you can have it in guys and you can have it in girls. So here's a guy with the widow's peak. See, it's that triangular part, okay? So now you're going to have, in this particular example, you're going to have the trait where it's going to be widow's peak or no widow's peak, okay? Which means smooth hairline, all right? So now, in these diagrams, the black circles or the black rectangles means that they have a smooth hairline, okay? So determine the correct genotypes and phenotypes. Okay, black circles, squares represent individuals that do not have a widow's peak. So you got to remember that to read the instructions in these problems, okay? So individuals that do not have a widow's peak, all right? So black circles and squares are individuals that don't have a widow's peak, okay? So how do we do these problems? You always start with the black circles and the black squares. Julie does not have a widow's peak, so that means that she has to have, okay, 2 of these genes. All right, so she has one from dad and one from mom, okay? So you got to remember that, okay? That in order to have a recessive trait, you need to have 2 genes that are recessive, all right? Now that we know this, we can tell what mom and dad look like, okay? Mom, we know that one of these W's came from her, and we know that one of these W's also came from the dad. So there we go, right? Now we also know, because it's a white circle and a white square, that they have a widow's peak, okay? So therefore we have to give that gene there, and there it is. So we know that they are heterozygous because, remember, because of this particular kid, Julie. Julie is the one that tells you all the information because she is homozygous recessive. That tells us that dad has to have one of them, and it tells us that mom has to have one of them, okay? And we can be certain that they're heterozygous because that only leaves room for one more gene, okay? And this gene has to be a dominant one, because if it wasn't, then let's imagine like this. Let's take this away, right? And let's put this here. If this was her genotype, then this would be a black square, okay? Okay, so you have to remember that, all right? That the white square means they have the widow's peak, so they have to have at least one of the genes, and so forth and so forth. But now let's talk about these guys here, Blanca and Rose. Blanca and Rose, we don't know what that genotype is going to be. Okay, we can't tell for 100%. We only know, okay, that they could either be, okay, if mom gives her this, dad can give her the same thing, right? And one of the parents okay, so parents can pass on that, but parents can also pass on this. Okay, what if one parent gives them a dominant gene, and what if the other parent, okay, because they could easily do that, gives them a recessive gene, right? Both of these genotypes would give this person, okay, a widow's peak, all right? So we don't know for certain what Rose is going to be, and we don't know for certain, okay, what Blanca is going to be, she could either be one of this one or this one. Why? Because mom and dad can pass on, okay, to one of two copies, okay? So the only thing that we can know for certain is that Julie is homozygous recessive. We know that mom is heterozygous and dad is also heterozygous. But this right here, okay, Rose is a mystery. Okay, and so is Blanca. Okay, we cannot tell for sure what these guys are going to be. Alright, because parents can give, okay, multiple. Now we can predict what's more likely. So we can say, we know that if we did a Punnett square, it's a 50% chance of them being heterozygous. There's a 25% of them being, okay, homozygous dominant. Okay, so make sure you guys understand when we can tell for certain, like in Lisa and Ben, the genotypes, and in Julie, but sometimes we just won't be able to tell for certain, okay, the genotype. Alright, so keep that in mind.